you everyone for joining us for another week of In Rhythm's Lightning Talks. For those of you who do not know who I am Jen, and I have the pleasure of co-hosting this space with our practice area consultants. In Rhythm Lightning Talks, they happen 5:15 p.m. Eastern every Thursday. It's an opportunity for our consultants to teach back to the In Rhythm community, and then also the technical community at large, both on LinkedIn and also later on YouTube. This week, I have the pleasure of co-hosting this space with one of our SDET consultants, Alexi. We had swagger last week. This week we have karate. So everyone get their belts ready and their wood boards. Bad joke. Different kind of karate, API automation testing library known as karate. Alexi's really excited about it. So with that said, I'm going to hand it over to you, Alexi, to get the party started.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you. Hi guys. Today we talk about karate. It's API automation testing library. And a couple months ago, I didn't know about this test framework. But now I start working in a new project, and I was surprised because this is one of the best testing API library in my career. And why it's so great? Why we have today karate lessons? Because possible you will need to use it for your project. And for example, I can definitely say that karate can beat Gmeter, Rest Assure, or SoapUI or Postman. It has mix of everything in one plate. And if you use this library, you can create a project using Java, for example, or JS, or you can use just Cucumber and BDD and set up your project. That's why sometimes, this library is created by Intuit, and they call it like automation API tool for different goals, for different purposes. But for me, I use just like API automation testing library, and it's definitely great. What is advantages if you compare karate and Rest Assure? What is difference and what is advantages of karate? First of all, you can create scripts using just Cucumber, just BDD, and you don't need to create code. But if you need to create some code, you can use Java, you can use different Java classes, and you can create advanced level of API functional testing. Okay, and karate has the best test reports, what I can see in API functional industry. Karate has approximately dozens reports, and you don't need to think how to set up or configure these reports. It takes just a couple minutes to set up everything, and after that you can see everything inside reports, all details, all logs, all screenshots, all input or all output. What is good in karate is based on Java, but it's accept native JSON support. And it's possible to read JSON files, it's possible to modify JSON files. That's definitely good, because in Rest Assure it's a little bit more complicated. If you try to create a Rest Assure API framework, step by step, you increase your code more and more, and it's not readable sometimes, and you need to understand how to parse JSONs and how to modify them. Okay, and you can use Java and you can use JS. This is definitely an advantage. And what I like more in karate, we can use parallel execution. It means that we can use karate for performance testing too, and it's same project. And you can create code or you can escape code. Plus, karate has the best advanced assertions. You don't need to think about how you can handle these assertions. You have everything in documentation. And you have different type of matchers, how you can check JSON paths. You can parse JSON, a lot of different good matchers, and you can use JS functions too. Okay, and karate based on BDD, on Cucumber, and support Cucumber. Okay, and it's a good for performance testing because you can use multi-thread. Okay, and disadvantages. again, I don't have big experience with karate because I work with karate just 1 month, but I noticed that I have some problems with highlight some expressions. For example, when you type some regular expression, after that it doesn't highlight the mistakes, and it's a little bit confusing because if you need to create a good test case and you can do some typo, after that it's possible a little bit complicated to fix that. And karate has own style of test cases, how you can handle data, how you can create assertions. You need to get used for the style. It's totally different from everything what you can see, like Postman's or PUI or rest assured, it's totally different. Okay, and I want to show the documentation, just a second. What you can see. Okay, if you read documentation, karate has a lot of different options, a lot of different features, not only for API functional testing. And possible to see the style of a karate test. It looks cucumber, but it's not cucumber at all. And possible to use a lot of different technologies with karate, and usually karate is based on Maven or Gradle. And you can read a lot of documentation, how you can use JS expressions, how you can parse response, how you can handle variables, and how you can set up your data files. Okay. And even you can pull this code from repository. Okay, and I want to show you this project, how it looks like. First of all, if it's based on Maven, you have your dependencies, like karate JUnit 5. And after, if you want to use Cucumber reports, because it generates approximately dozens of reports using this library, that's why I add this dependency. And plus, I use library Java Faker for generation of fake data. Again, it's not required only if you use karate JUnit 5. Okay. And after that, you have your runner. And what we have in configurations. In configurations, we use JS format. And in configurations, we can set up different environments. And for example, we can set up different data sources for different environments. Why it's so important? Because if you use a different set of data for different environments, it means that we need to switch these different variables. And karate can read these JS files and understand these configurations. For example, if you use KA, if you use def, you just change it, you just switch it. And if you have some problems with SSL certificate, you can add this Boolean, this function, and after karate can resolve all problems with SSL. Okay, after we have a logger, and by default, we set up debug level. And now we have simple Maven project. And for example, most important is test runner. And inside test runner, we have information what we need to use. First of all, we need to specify our module where we have our features files and our data files. After we have different set of texts, if we want to exclude or include different test cases, it's very important for us. Plus, we can add information that we definitely need Cucumber JSON reports. Plus, we can specify that we want to use 5 threads, for example. And after, we generate Cucumber reports, and plus we generate karate reports. Okay. We have our JSON if you want to use it. And I can show you how looks like these cases. We can start from something simple. We have tag like parallel execution, it's true. And after we take that, it's definitely a regression. If you want to run whole test suite using test runner, for example, if you run test runner like that, we run all test cases for what is included this stack. Okay, and after what we have from our config.js, we specify that we have specific URL for our API test cases. And Karate knows exactly that it's our URL for our test cases. Okay, after that, we can read some different data files. It can be CSV or YAML file, it doesn't matter. And Karate can read these files, and we can specify data source. Yeah, if it's QA environment or dev environment, we can switch these different data files. And after we set up everything like Cucumber structure, and after we give this parameter, okay, for example, you can see this endpoint, and after this endpoint, we have some param. But we can't add this param like that. We can give specific command like params, and after that, Karate can handle that. Can add, for example, my parameter in the end of this endpoint. Okay, and after we have our endpoint, what we specify after HTTP method, and after we verify a response code. This is simple test case how we can create something for API. After, we can create something like data-driven test case, and use same structure as for Cucumber. Like we specify that a scenario is outline after we have data table, and we give some name of variable. And after we have 3 iterations with different values for different statuses. And after that, Karate understands that we need to add some variable. In this case, we can use this bracket. And if it's string, we always need to put in double quotes, because Karate understands or it's string or it's something else, like it can be integer, boolean, or something else. Okay, after that, Karate understands that we have this param, after same idea, and after we can verify what we have inside our response. If you type some match commands that, okay, Karate understands that it's our assertion, and after type just response, it's not variable, it's just Karate understands that we need to parse this response. Okay, and after we provide information that response, it should be JSON array. After inside this JSON array, we definitely need to check that it's object. Yeah, we have object. Okay, ID should be number, it can be integer, or name should be string. Okay, and if you know exactly that we have a specific number of JSON objects, we can specify this number here. But for this specific request, it's always changed for me. That's why I just comment this string. But if you need to verify, for example, you send JSON request with 2 JSON objects, and you know exactly that in response you should catch, you should receive 2 JSON objects. In this case, it's very efficient verification for us. Okay, we verify everything, like different types of different parameters. And after we have 3 iterations, and it's data-driven test case for us. It looks like Cucumber. Okay, and after forget, we have number 3. What we can use? We can use data file. And what is interesting that first of all, we need to set up some variable. And after Karate understands that we need to read this YAML file. Okay, and for example, I have different statuses. And in these different statuses, I have 3 iterations. For example, I have 3 statuses and 3 names. And here I can set up different set of data for different test cases. Can be positive or negative. If, for example, I have some errors or I expect some message in response, I definitely can add a message here as variable, and after that just use from my test cases. And we split it as like that. Okay, and what is more? Okay, we can add double quotes or don't add double quotes, it doesn't matter. Anyway, we use special characters here. For example, you know exactly that status, it should be string, and that's why we put in double quotes. And after we specify that, okay, this should be the status, and name of variable should be same, like that. Okay, and I can run separate test case, I can run a feature file, it doesn't matter. Example, if I run like that. After in my output, I always have a link, hyperlink for reports, if I need report. Okay. And for example, I go to inside this report, and what I can see, I can see all steps. I can verify data, what I sent. For example, for now, I don't have any JSON body in my request because it's GET, but you can see that I have a JSON response, and I can verify this JSON response. And I can see what I have for my data, different iterations and different problems and like different statuses. Okay, and what about post? Post is a little bit more complicated because we need to use JSON body. Okay, for example, I want to create pet. This API create different records about pet in database, and after that, I can use a couple ways how I can do it. First, I can add JSON body here. I add JSON body in this double quotes, and after that, I can specify different variables in this bracket. And I get this data from data table again and specify name of these variables. And you can see that in request, I have these variables, and I have these verifications in my response too. How I can verify different parameters in response. Usually, Karate understand JWay, JSON pass, and you can specify that, okay, if it's just parameter like .id, and after equal, it's verification that equal this specific pet ID from my data table. Okay, if I have, for example, JSON array, in this case, I need to specify index of my JSON object, and sure, I can verify is it equal or not. Same, I can do it not equal, something like that, or I can verify contains or not. Why it's important? Because equal is not always good for us. If, for example, we have some big sentence, and after we want to verify just one word, in this case, contains is always better. Okay, after we can verify specific parameters in our response, everything is good. And we have other way how we can do it, other approach. For example, we have same JSON body and same verifications, but we take data from data file. And how we can read this data? Okay, it's again this variable. Okay, and create that, yeah. And we have set of data for our test cases, like that. Okay, and after, if it's string, it's inside double quotes. If it's integer or boolean, it's without double quotes. Okay, this is our second approach, how we can use post for our verifications. Okay, and number 3. This is super simple. We just create a JSON file. For example, I create full request. I know exactly that. Okay, full request should be like that, and it's always static, never change it. Okay, and after I create JSON for response, and I expect this response. Okay, and after I just say Karate that okay, please read this JSON like for response and for request, and after send this request, and after verify that okay, response is same. Yeah. Okay, everything is good. It's super easy. But the problem is data can be changed, data can be dynamic, and we always need to update these JSONs. This is not the best way. And most complicated way how we can use Karate, most complicated and most advanced level of way. We create empty JSON. We don't have any parameters here. Like you can see that if we use integers, we put null. If we use string, we put empty double quotes. And if we use, for example, JSON object like that, or we have JSON array. Okay, and after what we have, first of all, we need to generate some data because we have some okay, for some parameters I can use data file. Yeah, I can use data file, I can read it here. Again, I can use same data file. Okay, and if I need specific parameters like name, ID, or something like. Okay, but if I need to generate some data, in this case, I have data generator, and in data generator, I use Game of Thrones function that I can generate different characters, different digits, different range of integers. And after that, I just create JSON object and create JSON array. And just put random values for my test cases. And how I can let know Karate that definitely I need to use this object from this class. In this case, okay. In this case, I have this function like Java type, and after specify path to this class, and after put in a variable. Okay, when I put in variable, I can use in my test case. For example, I want to use this method. Okay, create category object. Create text for JSON array. Okay. After I put this JSON object in this variable and JSON array in this variable. Okay, and I have setters, and the setters helps me to add this data to JSON template. For example, if I use data file, I can use this type of variable. But if I use this JSON array and JSON object, JSON object and JSON array, after I can set up something like that. Okay, just put, please set up my request, because now my request is empty, but I need to add all this new dynamic data for request. After I send this request, you can see that I add everything for this request. And after in my response, I can verify same. Like, okay, category object should be same, JSON array should be same, and same values from our data file. Okay, and in the end, I can show you that we can use different conditions. Why? Because Karate understands JS, and we can use different JS functions. And for example, we can use different conditions. For example, we want to get some ID from our response. After we just print it because karate doesn't show me this ID from our response, and after evaluate that, okay, if this pet ID more than 100, after please fail my test case and print some information for me. Okay, and how we can run our whole test suite. Okay, we can use test runner like that, or just a second. Or we can use some command like maven clean test, and after specify information that it should be QA environment, because as you remember, we have configurations that we have environment QA. Okay. After we use this command. Okay. Okay, run this test cases, and after we can verify whole report for our API. Just a second. Okay, you can see a whole test suite. Time execution pass or fail, different number of test scenarios. And for example, if you go to post, you can see different set of data, what I use for test cases. And if you have some problems, I can always verify what is my request and what is data and what is in my response. And if something is failed, it definitely show me comparison. Like for example, this response is different from this request. Okay, or for possible we have problems with some specific parameter. And you can see that we have different type of matchers, different information. Okay, and what I like more from karate, if you go to our target folder, you can see we have karate reports and we have Cucumber reports. And if you go on site, we have a lot of different reports from Cucumber. You can verify different input, output, all information, what we have, different steps. And it's definitely good for visibility, what's fair, what is not, because I noticed that it's a big problem for many API tools, API automation tools or API different libraries, that it doesn't show anything what you have inside. You need to specify, you need to set up specific reports, you need to create a lot of backgrounds for that. But in karate, in a couple minutes, you can modify everything and set up everything what you can see, like by text, by features, different set of information about our API. Okay, that's it from my side. It's a brief explanation how it's possible to use karate for API function testing or for performance testing. If you have some questions, please ask me.